Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. It is my great pleasure today to welcome Keith Snell. Thank you so much for being here today and taking time to talk to us. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you so much. It's really my pleasure. Great to be here, Sam.
I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about your book, which is on the new festival bulletin, the book 3 Sonatinas. So I would like to move on then to talking about the third movement of this second sonatina. It is a rondo, and it's fast. I can see already, I know in my head which students are going to be attracted to this, and it's going to be a winner for sure. I hear this wonderful interplay between G major and G minor through this. What inspired this?
I like that major minor sound. I wanted something that was, a teaching moment, frankly, let's go major and minor. And I like the character, the ambiguousness, if that's a word, of that major minor sound. Where are we going to actually end up? Are we going to end up minor or are we going to end up major? So that was really the creation of that. Yeah. It's tricky because if you start too fast, you will have a hard time in measures, in measure 11 and measure 15, because it will be really hard to play those eighth notes clearly and evenly if you've played the first part too fast. So you really have to base your tempo on what you can do with measure 11 and 15.
That is really, really great advice. The other thing that I noticed when I sight read through this is that there's a commonality between the A theme and the B theme. You have these little 3-note slurs that lead us to the strong beat. What should students do? What should they be thinking about when they are performing these 3-note slurs?
Always head towards so with their repetitions, always head towards 1, 2, 3. Always get to the third one. Shape to the third one. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. All right. Always get to that third note. Okay. That will give a shape and direction to the music.
This is great. Such invaluable tips. And again, I think this will really shape how I teach this piece with my students. And I know it's going to benefit a lot of people. This is really, really cool.
This has one of my favorite codas in this book. I love the coda of this particular sonatina, especially where we have we're up here and then pianissimo and then very dramatic. And really sit on that, that's just a fun moment,
It absolutely stuck out to me. In fact, I wrote in big letters, German augmented sixth. It's just like,
That's right. That's right.
I love it.
One of the things that I always challenge myself to do in the easiest sonatinas is, even though there's a lot of restrictions on what I can do, I want to find as many possible ways to have, harmonic variations in them, things that are interesting, using augmented 6 chords or Neapolitan 6 chords or whatever, a secondary dominance. How can I pull that, even if it's just 2 notes implying a harmony that's a little more remote, I think that's what will give it more character.
I think that's really wonderful. And one of the things that I'm beginning to experience as a teacher is I'll have students who will play through a basic 1-4-5-7-1 cadence, and they'll say, well, that 5-7 chord sounds wrong to me. And I'm beginning to suspect that because these sounds aren't in students' ears anymore, because they're not exposed to them as they're consuming music from media composers, that these sounds are kind of beginning to go out of their vocabulary. So I think it's such a cool thing that you are actively working to put these sounds into your compositions and expose students to these sounds.
Well, good. I appreciate that. Yeah, I teach the 5/7 sound right, early on, so that is part of the vocabulary. And if a student, finds that idea of dissonance bothersome, then it's an opportunity to talk about that. That's actually how we put music together: dissonance and resolution to consonance. That's what makes music interesting. That's how music speaks to us. That without the dissonance, then the consonance isn't as nearly as interesting or as satisfying.
Keith Snell, thank you so much for joining me today and talking about your book. Keith Snell's book is 3 Sonatinas. It is available from awesome music retailers near you. Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sam.